You know, some modes of death are definitely worse than others, so we here at HowStuffWorks took it upon ourselves to research the absolute worst ways to die so you can avoid them at all costs. Maybe you think falling into a volcano filled with molten lava is a good way to go. You just plop in, sink, and disintegrate like that. Well, you'd be in for a pretty big surprise, pal. Because of the relative density of lava, you would basically hit the surface, thump on it, and erupt into flames. We know this thanks to a 2002 experiment carried out by a researcher named Richard Roscoe, who for some reason took a 66-pound bag of food and threw it into a volcano in Ethiopia to see what would happen. He recorded the results and found that the bag of food made a dent in the lava and erupted into a fountain of flames. That could have been you. Being eaten alive by a large animal would certainly suck. Some big cats tend to go for your throat and suffocate you before eating you. A jaguar crushes the temporal bones in your skull, disabling your brain and hence killing you before chowing down. But not all animals afford you this courtesy. Take hyenas, for example. They pounce on you until you're prone and then start eating whether you're conscious or not. Bears also have this same nasty habit, which is why one biologist is quoted as saying, "Bears don't kill, they eat." But wait, no death could certainly be worse than Scaphism, aka the tub, which is an ancient Persian torture technique whereupon you were basically put into a tub with your head and hands sticking out. The Persians would come along and douse you with milk and honey so that you would attract bugs and stinging insects. You would also be fed a steady diet of this milk and honey, which would give you irritable bowel syndrome, which would result in diarrhea, which would quickly fill up the tub. This would attract flies, which would lay eggs, which of course become maggots. The maggots would devour your flesh, eating you alive. And death, when it finally came, would come in the form of an infection like sepsis or gangrene. One poor soul was recorded as surviving the tub for 17 days. There are probably worse ways to die than being crushed to death, but we can't think of too many of them. And there's actually a couple ways you can die from crushing. Take, for example, the crowd crush, where there's so many people packed into a small space, the collective pressure prevents your lungs from expanding, and you die standing up of asphyxiation. Then there's also the good old-fashioned crushing death via structural failure of your organs, say for example the brain. This was actually a favored method of execution in India up until 1947. The condemned prisoner was made to put his head down on a stone and an elephant was brought over to step on his head, squishing him to death. I actually feel really bad for the elephants in that scenario. Now that you've heard our top entries, what way would you least like to die? Dismemberment? Plane crash? Let us know in the comments section below. But before you do, consult our original article for the 10 worst ways to die on HowStuffWorks.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more What the Stuff madness.